We bought 4 polar bears for $3,560. Marco bought 6 polar bears for $5,240. Many animals, while awesome, aren't cheap. For each type of animal, there's a price per animal and a one-time licensing fee, which changes with each animal. For each animal, we want to do 4 things. Write the equation of the animal pricing. Tell the price per animal and the licensing fee. Next, figure out how much it would cost for 15 of each animal, a small herd. And finally, figure out how many of each type you could buy for $3,500. So if we made a graph of this situation, what kind of a shape would we have? We've got 4 polar bears, $3,560, 6, $5,240. These are price for polar bears. No, it's going to be the same. So what kind of a shape is this going to be? We graphed it. Yes, it's going to be a line. And what do you know? We're working with lines. So how would we start? We want to write the equation of the line. What might we start with? Slope. We want to find slope. So we're going to make 2 points out of this information here. This information here. Okay, so our first point is 4, 3, 5, 6, 0. What's our second point? 6, 5, 2, 4, 0. Okay, so you're going to need a calculator today. If you do not have a calculator, you'd like to borrow one, you may get one from the countertop on the side of the room. So my suggestion would be to do it as we're doing it together. So if you don't have one, then get one. I want to encourage you guys to get a calculator of your own. So we said we start with the slope. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So how would we find the slope? 5240 minus 3560 over 6 minus 4. So order doesn't matter in terms of how we start, but once we start, we have to have these together. The ones that are above each other are the same point. So with our calculators, what do we get for the slope? 840. So this gives us 840. So if it's a line, it's going to be in the form y equals mx plus b. So we're going to put the m in place of the 840 in place of the m. Yes, Mashuka. So see how it says 4 polar bears for 3560? That's where 4, 3560, and then 6, 5240. And that's written on your page. Okay, so what do we do to find our y-intercept? Insert and add one of the points. So it doesn't matter which point. Let's say we want to insert this one. So we're going to put in place of our x, we're going to put a 4, and in place of our y, okay, and then we isolate the b. So how do we do that? Minus 3,360 from both sides. Our B is 200. So our equation of our line is y equals 840x plus 200. Okay, so for B, we want to find the price per animal and the licensing fee. So what part of that equation is the price per animal? What part is the licensing fee? Which one do you think is the price per animal? Which one is the licensing fee? So when you have a line, will your y-intercept ever change? No, that y-intercept is that y-intercept. It's never anything different. So that's going to be your licensing fee. So that 200 is your licensing fee, and it's $200. And then the price per animal would be $840. And it's polar bears here, so I'm going to put PB for polar bear. So C asks us to figure out how much it would cost for 15 of each animal. So how would we do that? What would we find?
Almost like 840.
15 for the X, because we've got, here our X's are the number of animals. So we want to substitute the 15 for the X. So into our equation here, we're going to put 15 as the X. And that is 12,800. So $12,800 for 15 mini animals. Okay, last question. Figure out how many of each type you could buy for $3,550.
What was it? How many you could buy for 30?
So it's meaning each polar bear. How do we find it? We want to know how many of each type we can buy for $3,500. What do we do to do that? Where do we put the $3,500? In the Y. So it's 3,500 equals 840 x plus 200, and then we just solve for x. So solve for x, we do what? I know Derek knows. Can I get a hand, please? Jimmy, anybody else? What do we do to solve for x? Thank you, Jimmy. Yeah.
Subtract.
Yes. $3,300 is 840x, and then divide by 840. Okay, pay attention to this. Okay, so that answer is 3.928 ... How do we interpret that answer? Why 3, not 4?
Because it's not full.
You can't afford 4.
Yeah, we can't make part of it. It'd be pretty bloody, wouldn't it? Just nasty.
Yeah, that's why you just.
Okay, let's do one more.
Yesterday was so easy.
Okay. Tia bought 4 manatees for $1,120, and Sunny bought 8 manatees for $2,160. We're answering all the same 4 questions. So how do we start?
I'll find the point.
You have to do the slope formula.
Okay, but even before that, what do we do?
Write that.
Find the point.
Write our 2 points. So our 2 points are going to be 4, 1, 1, 2, 0, and 8, 2, 1, 6, 0. So we're going to find our slope. So let's go back here. Tell me how to find the slope.
I got it.
Good. Thank you, those of you who are sitting quietly. And so we get an answer of 260. And that 260 goes where in our equation?
Slope.
That's the m. So it's y equals 260, x plus b. And so somebody at this desk here, how do we find our b? Good. Which one do you want to use? Okay. Okay. So we're going to put 1120 in for our y and 4 in for the x. And then we subtract 1040. And we get 80. So our equation for our line is y equals 260x plus 80. And then what is our price per animal and what is our licensing fee? Let's go back here. What's our price per animal? What's the licensing fee?
Licensing fee is $80.
That's correct. Good. That changes for how many animals you have, and then the licensing fee will stay the same no matter what. For the manatees. I love manatees. So C is how much would it cost for 15 of each animal? How do we do that? Yes, so we're going to put it in place of our x. Because our number of animals is our x value. Let me write that neater.
Oh.
So 3,980, and then our units on that is dollars. So it's a word problem here. Make sure you're putting your units. We'll look at that on your test when you, or quiz when you go to take it. And then the last one, we want to find out how many of each type we could buy for $3,550. Over here. How many could we buy for $3,550? So how would we figure it out? Thank you, those of you who are sitting quietly. I'm almost done. Just wait a little bit longer. So set 300,550 equal to it. Yes, Brooklyn, good. 260x plus 80. Good. Guys, I'm almost done. I just need you to sit quiet just a little bit longer. Thank you. What's that? Thank you, darn it. Okay, thank you. Yes, I accidentally put 3550 and it's 350. Somebody asked a question on that, what I did? Rusty, did you have a question?
Oh, I was just wondering where you would get the score from the
So I went from this point here, if you could choose either point, it doesn't matter which point. And so 3420 divided by 260 is 13.15. And then what would be how many manatees?
13. 13 minutes.
What's the manatees, right? Manatees, thank you.